Is someone
going? Someone said victory is greater than death.
Can I go?
Z, you should go for it.
Z, I don't know if you're coming through. It's looking like your video is moving in slow motion. If you would like to tell us what you wanted to say in chat, because I don't even see your video in your icon right now. So yeah, I think they are frozen. So please type it to us because we definitely want to hear your perspective. Someone said Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
That was me. And the only reason I really like that book a lot, I mean, it was English magic that wasn't Harry Potter, which was great, you know what I'm saying? Because it was beginning the disentanglement from Shorty, what's her name? JK. But the thing that I loved most about that and was really seen for me is like a good 20% of the book is footnotes. And it's like there are references to books within the universe of the story. And I love that as a nerd, as a little research nerd and someone who loves there's a literary tradition and a mythology and all this other stuff within the universe of the book that really spoke to me on a nerd level.
Yeah. Let me get one. Oh,
can I'd like, is someone else?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right, so the book I think was really good was Atlas Shrugged. Just joking. No. So I really like Kurt Vonnegut's style, and I think back when I read The Breakfast of Champions, I was much younger as a writer, and it really helped me to figure out how to get the important parts of the story down on paper. And that sarcastic, witty inclusion of random details to kind of throw you off but also give you a full picture. I think that's something he does very well that I tried to emulate. Yeah.
Love this. And y'all are still coming through with more books. So let me ask you this. Of the people that I talked to, or anyone who wants to share at this point, how far were you in the book when you realized the book was not written by that was not written by a Black person? Where did you read it? It was like, oh shit, you know what? We're not gonna be in here.
The preface. I was in the preface, actually.
I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but its cover.
It's true.
I am intentional in my purchases and reading. So I think I usually know beforehand going into it. If I hear whispers of a book or something, it's because, I don't know, I came across an interview or something similar. So I usually know beforehand, don't have that problem. I don't have any what you want to do for love moments where it's like, wait, that artist singing that song is white? What? I haven't had
Bobby Caldwell.
Yeah, Bobby Caldwell was Black until I was 37.
Okay, so I wanted to point this out just because there's a lot of really great literature out there that does not feature us, that does not present us well, or we die so that Jennifer Lawrence can win the Hunger Games. So that's the whole vibe, that's the whole thing, and we've gotten very used to that. Now, could you list me some books that are written by Black people that made you feel reflected, made you feel seen? Bluest Eye. Okay, that just all happened real fast. Hold on. Underground Railroad.
Yeah, also some hot whiteheads work. Nickel Boys.
Witch, Sula. All right. I knew these were gonna come fast.
Evan Winters, Fires of Vengeance Cycle.
So how far were you in these books before you realized that you were reading something that was gonna be about Black people? What was the moment where you were like, picking up a book, reading it, it was like, oh, look, I'm already here.
When I said add to cart.
So when I read the 5th season, the first, it's a hard, for me, the first 10 pages are hard to read because something is happening. I don't know what's happening and I don't care yet, right? Like this is not a spoiler because it's actually in the first 10 pages of the book. Someone is standing on a thing and they're ripping the world apart. And I don't know the world, I don't know the person. I just know he's Black. And I was like, great, Black villain, first page. Love this, this is my jam. Wait, no, it's not. I don't even know what's happening. But we get a little farther in and there's a point at which the character Esun walks into her home and she finds the body of her dead child. Also not a spoiler, this is the first 10 pages. And I'm just in because we go through the stages of grief with this woman. And for me, it hit a point where like we don't see enough Black mothers being mothers in books and film and television. So it kind of hit me really nicely. I wanted to see if y'all have any moments in books where you're like, oh yeah, this is us.
So I should mention, I had a twin miscarriage in 2018, and someone had recommended the book as like a grief book, right, for me, as something. And so like, you know, they were like, you would enjoy this for some odd reason, right? And honestly, I remember that the scene of Essen really like walking into the home and finding her dead child, and then I can't give that because this is a spoiler, but that really hooked me into the whole series. I read the entire series in 10 days.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that probably would have made me mad, so I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
I think for me, there was a comic book artist who's deceased now. His name was Dwayne McDuffie. Mm-hmm. And some of you probably heard of him and whatnot. He created Static Shock, some of us of other age for that cartoon. He wrote all over the board for Superman and stuff, and all his stories had this flavor where you were like, I tasted that before, even if he was writing about white people. And he wrote a story, it's a book out called Hardware. And there is this brother who he won a scholarship for his science project. And this is like back jacket stuff. I'm not gonna give you too much more, but he wins the scholarship and basically the richest white man in the city takes him under his wing. And he ends up being basically almost like a CEO of this like Stark Industries, basically. Mm-hmm. And he starts to notice that he's hit a ceiling in his career and he can't get any higher. He is the novelty of being this genius Black boy is over. And like he gets trotted out to give scholarships to other unfortunate Black kids that don't end up going nowhere. And he ends up, things happen to him. He's being used in certain ways. His tech that he's created is being claimed by his former mentor. He's being passed up for serious promotions coming up and he becomes a vigilante. And because of some things, there's some blackmail happening. And he becomes a vigilante. And at one point, people turn on him, and as they turn on him, and then he gets confronted for the first time by police. There's this moment where it's my Twitter banner, and he says, "These cops shoot him. They just unload as soon as they see him. No questions, nothing." And he's like, "Oh, what you afraid of? Is it the tech or is it my Blackness?" And he go in, and Hardware don't care. And if Batman was angry and tired and really tired of rich white people, that's what Hardware is. And that was the moment for me. There was actually reading something.
I love that. I love that. Also the definition of Nighthawk, the Black Nighthawk. That was so hard. That was so hard. Okay, so grab your pen, grab your paper. We're gonna do an exercise on hegemony. So hegemony in the West. Find the doc, doc is found. Okay, great. Hegemony in the West. Where are you? There you go. Okay, so defined as like leadership or dominance, especially by one country or social group over the others. So in the West, hegemony looks like whiteness, ability, heterosexuality, Christianity, and man. For our purposes, I like to add in like being working class, neurotypical, and cisgender. So for this conversation, expressing my own, I want you guys to write down how you fit into hegemony and how you don't fit into hegemony. So for example, I am Black, I'm chronically ill, I am post-Christian Buddhist, I'm a man, I am cis, I'm prone to depression, have ADHD, and I'm working class. So we're gonna take 3 minutes because I've given you all the things. So when I talk about hegemony, these are generally things that you're born into that you don't really have a choice about. A lot of times they're things you share with your family or things that you can't change about yourself. And we're coming back at 33.
Could you please repeat that?
Oh, I'm gonna put it in the chat, my friend.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. So 25 more seconds. All right. Would anyone like to share some things about your personal hegemony?
Okay, LP. Can I say something, or I can type it in the chat box, or can I just say here about
Sure.
the exercise you gave, the classwork? I can?
About
Or
what?
you're screen to hear me? You gave a classwork, you said, is someone ready to talk about, the identity without hegemony? Can I say mine, or I have to write it out?
No, you can say it. Go ahead.
Okay, I am a man, gay, of course, struggling in, a middle class society, trying to find my voice. Cis, of course, struggling with ADHD, extremely depressed, and I'm not a Christian. I'm just, a pro atheist, or an atheist, so to speak. And I'm learning. I'm learning to accept who I am. I'm learning to accept people for who they are, and I'm trying to be, just radical. Yeah, I hope that works.
Yeah, that is. Thank you, Jude.
You're welcome.
I can go next.
Please let me know.
Okay, I am Black, African to be exact, Kenyan, a woman, critically short-sighted, demisexual, Catholic, but like really laid back about it. Cis, working class, although I'm a student right now, so, and neurotypical.
Beautiful.
Go.
Go for it.
So I am Black, American is one thing, cis, female, raised culturally Christian. I'm Canadian American, neurotypical, though I have depression and anxiety, working class, queer femme, and I am fat.
Ooh, that's a good one to add to my list. Thank you. Would anyone else like to go? I don't want to pressure anybody. I just want to help y'all to give examples of who we are in this space. Go ahead, PCA, and then Shingai.
So I'm cisgendered, queer, Christian, able-bodied, working class, Zambian, Black, from the Tumbuka tribe, and a woman. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's it from me.
Tribe was a good one to add. I need to add that one to mine. Yeah, I am Black, African, Kenyan to be specific, from Nairobi. I am from the Kikuyu tribe. I am a queer cis woman, pansexual to be exact. I am the oldest daughter in a family that was working class, but upward mobility and became middle class. I have anxiety.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Y'all are lovely. I appreciate it. It is brave. It is brave. Oh, hola. Thank you. I'm going to read yours out if that's okay. I am Black. Okay, cool. Beautiful. I am Black African, cash poor, neurodivergent, single mother, disabled, ugly, fat, manic, depressive, and right-handed. Beautiful. Okay, so there's some overlap with the next conversation, which is about ontology. So the first, when we talk about hegemony, these are the communities that you belong to, and ontology are the things that are specific to just you. Like they're separate from your family sometimes. So I'm going to talk about some of my ontological statements. Usually they're phrases that fit after the word I am, right? So my ontologies are that, oh yeah, I am asthmatic. I am a musician. I am multilingual, but horrible at Spanish. I am an orphan. I am a foodie. So these are things that are specific to you outside of your community. You could talk about them. it can get very deep sometimes, which is a-okay, and we want you to feel safe to divulge as much or as little as you would like to, okay? But we're gonna take 3 minutes and we're gonna come back at 42. And I'm gonna put that in the chat because I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. Twenty more seconds. Okay, so while we're working on it, I was working on it too. I wanted to add, I'm a comic book nerd. I am a fan of trash television. I'm petty, and I'm a writer. I choose to be petty every day of my life. That's who I am. That's who I want to be when I grow up. Does anyone want to share any of their ontologies with us? All good. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So we're gonna move into the next bit of, oh, hey, Ola. Collage artist, papermaker, extreme introvert. Yeah. Left-handed, trilingual, and multi-creative from Liz. I forget you speak 3 languages.
I'll share some.
Oh, please.
I'm immunosuppressed. I'm a survivor of a cult, being the Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm a former homeless person after my parents kicked me out when I was 16 years old. I was assessed to be gifted and talented as a child, which is actually really it's a form of neurodivergence that people really don't talk about because we appear to be high functioning. But we really struggle in areas of socialization, especially when we're young. I'm a class jumper. Everyone else in my family is working poor, but because I went to school and grad school and have succeeded in my career, I'm kind of now technically middle class. But and I carry a lot of survivor's guilt related to that. I'm a poly person. Monogamous relationship orientation has never made sense to me. I'm an amateur gourmet. I love to cook from scratch, and I'm a very avid basketball fan.
Thank you, Tyler. Ernestine is a writer, an artist, bilingual, otaku, reviewer, petty, girl, introvert, and foodie. Aisha is a guitarist and pianist, watercolorist, and lover of grunge rock. I'm gonna have to get a sidebar later. I'm gonna use Google because Google's my friend because one of those words I didn't know. And we're gonna talk about that later. Okay, this is great. This is wonderful. I really appreciate y'all sharing. It is brave. It is brave, and fiction is brave. So this is what it is. We're gonna move into the next little portion. So I am a person who writes things from concepts first. What does that look like? When talking to like Shingai, my dearly beloved, she sits on an idea for about a year and then she writes it because it takes her that long to gestate, which I think is really cool. I start writing something and then I can't finish it because I don't know how I'm gonna finish it, which is also really cool because we all have processes and they all make sense to and for us. So for me, I come up with a concept first and then I figure out the people, I figure out the specifics of a thing. But what that means is that when I come up with a concept, the first thing that I kind of do is kind of figure out the culture and figure out the space. And so what I've done is created a series of touchstones for me that work as far as Maurice is rude and fat and an artist and a drawer and shy and beautiful sometimes and alive. I love that. I love beautiful sometimes and alive. Those are my favorite ones. Oh, and kind and a bad dancer. I didn't see that one. So I'm going to share with you the framework that I use to make some stuff up. And we're going to work together to put something together. And then I'm going to break you out to figure out what your paradigm looks like. And you're going to sit by yourselves and create some things. And you're going to come back to me. And I'll give you a story idea. And you can go from there with what you want to. So my 6 things, because again, I'm about belonging, are cuisine, customs, community, citizenship, sayings, and objects. So when I talk about those things, I'm talking about things that happen in our household that don't necessarily happen in all households. So I never went to my white friends' houses and had someone cook chitlins. I never went to my white friend's house and I saw a flat iron. Or some of the sayings that we were going through cracked me up because I was sitting with Yvette and Shingai yesterday. So growing up, if I went to a grocery store, I had to, or any store, whenever I bought something, I had to get a receipt and I had to get a bag. Because the way we were taught was like, you have to make sure that you dot all your T's, dot all your I's and cross all your T's in order to make sure that someone won't think that you're stealing from them. Is that anything that anyone else has had an experience with? Is that something you were told as a child? Yeah.
Yeah, I got that.
I feel like this is a place to process attending white Thanksgiving because my white boss invited me a couple of times. Holidays mean something different to Black people than they do to our counterparts, and they don't understand it. the total absence of salt, sometimes pepper, and definitely seasoned salt and paprika. Mashed potatoes is the main. Oh, okay. Okay, that we might have to process this after we turn off the record function. I also have an experience with in Chicago, we don't split poles. Do y'all know the superstition? Does anyone want to explain it?
So if you walk with somebody and you come to like a pole in the street, right? You don't walk on one side and first you walk on the other. Y'all cross on the same side of the pole.
Which is innocuous, but I've gotten in fights with people about splitting the pole. So it happens.
Yo, you did that to somebody, bro? I thought you was a good guy.
See, do you see how the guy?
Why?
It's a whole thing. Okay, so I didn't win the fight, if it makes you feel better. I went back around the pole because I do what I'm told half the time. These are just those kinds of things that are customs that exist in our lives, and we can share them with each other. Another one is my grandmother. When I cut my locks off, she was like, "Okay, you need to burn your hair or bury it, so that nobody could do hoodoo on me." Very real thing. So looking at the custom specifically right now. Wait, what? See, the chat is on fire right now. Who vanished on the other side of the pole made y'all start? I don't think anyone vanished. It's just a bad luck thing. But
that's
like
the story though.
But see, that's how you turn one of these customs into something that you can write. Who disappeared? What's that story look like? Right? I don't know anybody who didn't bury their hair and didn't burn it and they got caught up in some hoodoo. Shingai was telling me about how in Kenya, they never counted the 10th child. They would say they had a 9th child plus one probably because the mortality rates were really high. But that's a whole other speculative story in 15 minutes, right? Or, don't pick up money that you find in the streets because it'll get you involved in a blood cult. That one was entirely new to me. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so that's one that Shingai told me. And then Yvette was like, no, you step on it so you can get the bad juju off of it so you can take it home with you. And that way you won't get into the blood cult. So we all have these things. So could y'all share some customs that in your community are normal, but maybe to the rest of the world might not be?
I'll share.
Mm-hmm.
So I am Jamaican,
Mm-hmm.
and when we lose our baby teeth, you go and you throw them up on the rooftop and ask for Rata to come and take them and bring you new teeth.
Oh, throwing baby teeth. I'm writing that down for later. And y'all should be writing some of these down because some of these might be the story that you tell later. They might be a part of the story that you tell later. So write things down when they sound interesting to you. Oh, we got a whole lot of hands. Okay, Nikita, go ahead.
So I'm Guyanese, and like when I was a child, you were told like if you go to a funeral and you're coming back and you're going into your house, don't go into your house straight. Turn around and back into the house so that no zombie can latch onto you and come into the house with you.
I've heard that one before. Damn jumbies. Maurice.
Well, I don't know if it counts, but like I'm from North Carolina, the South, and a lot of people make up words. So the word "vibe" is what my dad says, but it means like to share with people. And my brother didn't know till he got to college that there wasn't like a real word. So and I thought it was real because I would say "vibe" all the time, but nobody ever corrected me. But I think that's something interesting about where I'm from, the Southern, how we make up words. I mean, I think everybody makes up words, but
Love that. Ernestine.
So I'm from Burundi, and we have this thing. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We have this thing whereby you're not supposed to eat strangers' food, and not just stranger, like even someone who's like outside the nuclear family, because you don't know. Like we just think everyone is out to poison you, and funnily enough, poisoning rates are really high. Like if someone dies of unnatural causes in Burundi, it's probably they were poisoned. Also, funnily enough, I had a cyanide poisoning once, but that was like my own stupidity.
You out here drinking cyanide?
No, it's some type of I think it's cassava, the leaves. If you don't treat them well, you will poison yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, basically that's what happened.
Okay, we're gonna stop doing that though, right? We're gonna treat them well, right?
Good. It tastes good though.
Okay, we're just gonna treat them well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's it. No more cyanide poisoning. Aurelius.
So I grew up on the west side of Chicago in the 80s, and I find this is not only something that's local, I find out the hard way, but it's also something that's sort of specific to a certain time period. And that saved me some. So if your friend goes to the store and buys a bag of chips, and they're eating the chips and you see them eat the chips, you can just say, save me some. That doesn't just mean that they're going to give you some of their chips. That means they're going to store those chips and hold them for you. So when you're ready for some chips, they're there for you. Which is something that we always did in my neighborhood. It was common. You know, I would just go a kid and say, save me some. And like later on, like, yeah, they had some hot chips for me, or vice versa. You know, I want some of those salt and sours later. Save me some. And I would do that. And then I moved out to the suburbs, and I told this white kid to save me some. And we got into a fight. They thought I was trying to bully you. They thought I was trying to bug them for some chips. And yeah, I realized at that point that was something that was not only, it was very culturally local. And that was a weird thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
like
right.
It's impromptu socialism, just like we all share each other's stuff. It wasn't even a problem, it's just a habit.
I mean, I'm here for it. I don't know anything about it, but I'm here for it. Ross?
Hey, so in Kikuyu culture, I think Shingai knows this. And when you kill a goat for eating, not for anything else, you have to make a hole through the collarbone, so that when you throw it on the ground, grass can grow through it, and there will be grass for another goat in the homestead or in the family. So if you don't do that, then there'll be like a patch of ground without grass, and then you won't have another goat, or there won't be prosperity in the family, or stuff like that. I don't know if that makes sense.
It doesn't have to make sense. We just have to. It's a custom.
Yeah. So basically, you just have to make a hole through the collarbone.
Okay.
Do goats have collarbones? I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
Clavicle? I don't know.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tebogo.
Hi, sorry, I have a few of them. So,
can you just give me two?
Okay, let me choose two. This isn't really like a cultural thing, but if you you'd always find, like in the township where I grew up in Soweto, there's like tires on the roofs. There's like IRB sheeting on the roof, so they would put tires on the roof, and it supposedly protects your house from lightning, and it protects the roof from flying away. I don't know how true that is, but that was the thing.
No, that's science.
Yeah. And then there's another thing where when a child is born, you save the umbilical cord and you throw it like from a hill or from a mountain to protect it from being bewitched by someone, from someone picking it up and using it for some ritual or something. That's two.
That's like my granny in the hair, where I had to burn or bury my hair so that nobody could put it rid of me. Yes. Awimo, you're gonna be the last person.
Oh yeah, so I was just laughing at the don't wear red because that's a very common thing. Like don't wear red when it's raining or you get struck by lightning. I also say two, and one is really funny because it happened to my brother. But when a child is born, at least in the Luo community in Kenya, and they just keep on crying, like and they don't stop, somebody is supposed to start saying names of different people, like different people, ancestors, over and over until like the name that's said and the child stops crying is the one that they give to the child. So, you know, my brother once, when he was really tiny, he would keep crying and crying, and they named him my grandmother. And so fun story there. And the second one is kind of a funny throwaway one where if like you're not supposed to jump over your friend's legs because they'll give birth to a rat, like it's funny, or a very short passer, one or the other.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, there's another one that was in my household. I don't think it exists anywhere else. We spend a lot of time lying on the floor, and it was a problem in my household if you walked over someone, if you like stepped over them. Apropos of absolutely nothing. But look, these things are things that make sense in our home cultures, but then they might look very different in someone else's culture. If we were to weave a couple of them into a story about a fictional Black people, then different kinds of Black people will see themselves reflected in it. That's that moment where you're reading a book and you see Black folks in it. So those are customs. I also have a couple of sayings. So my mama used to say, the truth can't hurt you if you're living right. Or my granny, her thing was, you don't love me like I love you. I'm like 6 years old and I'm not allowed to use the phone, but she'd be mad at me for not calling her. But like, it's a part of our life in a very real and different way. Are there any, also too much like right is something that we say a lot, as well as can't hold water, which originally meant you were sick and you were so sick that when you drank water, it went right through you. But now, in the context that I hear it now, when someone says they can't hold water, it means that they can't keep a secret. And I'm like, huh, that's interesting how that changes. But if you take it literally, what does it mean when you can't hold water? So are there any weird sayings or interesting sayings from where you are that you could share?
I put some in there. One was what you don't know, fat meat greasy. And you say that to people if they like if somebody did something in more so if you did something stupid and you didn't expect the repercussions of your actions, they say, what, you ain't no fat meat greasy? That's a good one. I always use that with white folks because they never get it. And then it was the precursor to fuck around and find out. Tell the truth, shame the devil. That was another one. My matriarchal households were always super uber Christian, and while I'm not at all, probably because of this, it was always tell the truth, shame the devil. The truth shall set you free, and they're always trying to get us to tell on ourselves, and then we get punished anyway. So that was terrible. Taught me to be a really good liar. Trying to think, there was oh man, the amount of sayings that I dropped down all the time. Trying to think.
Look, hit me back if you come up with some more. Let me check with the release real quick.
My favorite one
as a teacher. Oh wait, hold on.
We can hear you.
Yeah, but I was mobile and now I'm not mobile anymore. And I'm doing that. Sorry about that. So my favorite one was if you throw a stick at a pack of dogs, the one you hit gonna holler.
Hit dog
Which
gonna
just
holler.
means quite simply, if someone's just making a general comment, the person who's gonna have the most to say about that comment is the one that is affected by it, right? The one that feels convicted by it, right?
Mhm.
So you know, you just saying around, oh man, we out of milk already. I didn't drink the milk. I didn't say you did drink the milk. I'm just saying I need to go buy some more milk. Why are you getting upset? Right. And that's something my father would always say to me, because I made that mistake common. I couldn't just shut up. I had to defend myself before it was time to defend myself. So yeah.
Love that. Tanaja also put I'm a dance at your wedding. Late for their own funeral. My auntie always says, I ain't seen you since Heck was a pup, but Heck is a big dog now. Because I come from country people. So like, again, these are like some things that you can put into your fiction that will signify, but also will give you some latitude as far as creating some ideas about speculative world building, right? I have, we can also go with like objects that you don't find in other people's households, like whether that is like a bonnet, child dating people who are not Black and they don't know what a bonnet is or for, and they think it's really funny. Hot combs, making pallets when I come down south to visit my cousins and aunties on the floor. Altars. I was in Marie Laveau's the other day, and they were talking about making altars as part of a hoodoo or voodoo practice. But essentially, it's like all the energetic things that you need, but also photos and pictures of your ancestors, like ofrendas and coco. But when you walked into my grandmother's house, there was a picture of everyone in our family who had pictures on the wall that buttressed the stairs. And it was like, we always had an altar of some sort in our house. We just didn't know that some things just kind of translate down. So so we hit sayings, objects, customs. Did I miss something? I missed food. So last bit before we break, I have a couple other ideas about things you can use as far as like what makes something your own, like community versus citizenship. Like, I am technically a citizen of the United States, but there's a strong likelihood that I can be shot anywhere and nobody will give a fuck. But my community is a different thing. My community, my family, my home community, the energy is different there. And like, I got hit by every woman on my way home when I did something wrong, because everybody had the right to get in that ass if you did something wrong until you got home. And the final call was the final call. So these are things that like friends from other communities don't have an experience with. And these are also things that tell us that we are in story. So if everyone can give me just one food that they can't find when they're traveling. One food done right that they can't find when they're traveling.
Jamaican patty.
I still don't think I've had a good one yet.
Cause you can't get a good one outside of Jamaica. Like, they don't even taste remotely the same. It's so upsetting.
And all I want is good food. All I want is food done right. Biryani, sweet tea, Haitian pate. German chocolate cake for me, that's a big thing in my family. Fried bake, apple munch, neck bones. Look, everybody, y'all ain't have no problems with this one. So crepes, spicy good vegan. You need to talk to Hugh about that, because Hugh swears he can cook. Samosa. Yes, yes. Okay. Chapati. Okay. All right. So we have these things that create context, right? So let's talk about how to make them speculative. I have a list of ideas for stories based on the Fix It Jesus workshop that I did last year. These are not anyone else's stories. These are just examples that I used to give people things to do in a breakout room. But I wanted to present them to you as a way of creating that once you have, once you know what you're trying to do, you can just kind of throw things in and make them mix and match. So, wait, before, no, let's do this first. So I'm gonna list some options, and then y'all are gonna go into breakout rooms, and y'all are going to collaboratively come up with some ideas. Ideally, everyone in the room, there'll be enough different people from different cultures in the room that y'all have some interesting things when you come back, and we'd like to hear about them. And here are your options. A chosen one, a wise old elder is usually the person who tells the chosen one what their goal is, what they have to do. Instead of a wise old elder, give me a preteen. Give me a vampire who, instead of courting a child, courts an octogenarian, preferably an 80-something-year-old Black woman, because that takes on a whole different texture. Give me a godchild. Fix Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is horrible because the father sells the daughter into slavery, and then she goes home and realizes she has Stockholm syndrome. Give me Avatar: The Last Airbender, but with dark-skinned people. Give me Dune, but with Middle Eastern people, and no white savior. Like, go off. Like, extrapolate and figure it out. I know that I have one person who's not going to make it for that, but I'm gonna put y'all in breakout rooms now, and I'm gonna pop in and try to see if y'all need any help, and we'll work. Oh wait, sorry, I didn't give enough instruction. So with whatever story you're given, or you decide on, you can make it fantasy, or you can make it science fiction, or you can make it horror. You just have to make the thing work in that space. So if it's a horror story, then you take walking into your house backward after a funeral and don't do it, and have the horror story happen. Or you can put the horror story on a space station after someone's funeral, and they don't walk into their quarters backward. What does that look like? You know, do they have an ofrenda? You know, is there an altar in their house? Are people out here splitting poles in space or in Avatar? I don't know. So put you in breakout rooms, and I will come see you in just a second. All right, go forth and be prosperous.
Wait, so we were excluded from the breakout room?
What'd you say, Barry? I wasn't excluding you. Just join one.
Oh, okay.
It didn't give me an option of sorting you in. Jude, you okay? Jude?
So
yeah, that's a good idea.
So aliens come, they see how all the marginalized people are being treated, and all they want to do is just like give us a leg up so that we can get our freedom and get some equality and then leave us alone. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Y'all are working.
Are there any like customs or like, I don't know, citizenship, anything that you want to include in that?
Why would they do this?
Hey. Okay.
So just to confirm, we choose one of the ideas you said, and then we add part, like all six, part of the six, whatever, to flesh out a story.
As much or as little as you want to. Just not even to flesh out a story, but just get some world building. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. Do y'all feel like you're good? Do you want me to stick around and talk you through some more of it, or are you okay?
I think we're okay. We're gonna go with the vampire.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm just want to check in, make sure you're good.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So
when they die, you're supposed to put charcoal on in their hands to make sure that they, nothing bad happens. So I could imagine like a vampire like coming back because this was not done for them.
Yeah. Maybe our story is about a visitation or an apparition, and the person didn't take the right steps to vanquish the apparition.
Y'all are good. Thank you. Keep raining. I'm getting out of here. You're okay. I'm okay. Good. Love it. Thank you. No pressure. I hate that it does that when I come in. I just want to see if y'all are doing okay. If you need some more instruction, if you need some help, if you're doing all right.
Yeah. No, we don't know what we're doing.
Okay, beautiful.
So every Juneteenth, we can say that as an ostensible tradition, like people can understand every Juneteenth Black people make collard greens, but what they don't know is that as part of the ritual, the collard greens got to be made with like slave owner neck bones. And there's like a secret Black people marketplace where we get these things.
Good job. I'll talk to y'all a little bit.
Okay. He just slid up in here. I didn't even know he was there.
Wait, I don't know how to get out.
In order to get into the market, right? You gotta get into the soul market. But what do you need to get in? What's the story? So what are you can only get in after a funeral, walking backwards through an alleyway. It's our version of a platform.
No. It's the other side of the pole.
Splitting the pole?
It's the other side of the pole.
Definitely
this is why we don't split the pole, because you're not trying to.
I'm here for the pole.
If you split the pole any other day, you're gonna wind up into like the nether or whatever. But you can split the pole on this one day to enter the sacred marketplace.
There you go. And it's a who's selling the food? It ain't gonna be a person. Let's make it fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Let's go through. Give me some tradition or a folk tale creature. Man